Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Now, I know it has been a very, very long time since you last saw me, but here I am bringing you the long-awaited update on the baliplus double slot Kraken clone. Now, I have done a little bit of tweaking to this thing. Some of you have been asking, how's it been holding up tolerance-wise? Well, I didn't touch it at first. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to touch this thing. I'm just going to leave it out the box as it is and see how this thing fares. Now, to be honest with you, it's done really well. I mean, I got, I think, very, very gentle tap if I shook really, really hard, which is now gone, but I'll explain to that why. Because one bushing was really well tuned and the other one was just a bit oversized. My personal recommendation to you guys would be, if you buy one of these, the stock baliplus brass washers, I genuinely recommend, if you have some armed shark balisongs or any other, real squid balisongs, any other, or even an abalis balisong, I highly recommend. Or if you don't have any, buy the Nabalis balisong like washer kit, like just the hardware kit. I think it's about £8. Basically, swap out those those brass washers for some phosphor bronze ones. Now, this is such a big deal because literally as soon as I did that, I realized that the tune on this thing is actually much better than I thought. It's just these washers kind of bind a little bit if you tighten all the way. I also swapped these screws for these silver ones. Mine came with silver ones in the box, and I think they look a bit nicer than the black ones with the silver blade. I just quite like them. I then also actually took it a step further and I put this guy on stainless washers, just because I wanted to try out a Kraken on stainless. Yeah, I thought it could be cool. And once I did that, dialing in the tightness, because I didn't technically wear the blade in fully before switching to stainless, I genuinely do recommend, if you are going to do a stainless swap, run phosphor bronze or the brass washers for, a few weeks, maybe even a few months at first, or basically get that blade fully worn in, so that when you take the blade off, you can see the wear lines of the washers. That is when is like the perfect time to swap over to stainless washers, because then your tune can be absolutely nutty and fully cranked down, and you'll still have a good tune. So here we go. This is my tune at the moment. I didn't touch one washer. I gently did another one, because one washer is like borderline perfect, if not slightly undersized without it being worn in. The other one was just a bit oversized, right? I think my bite handle is too perfect. Here's my handle gap closed. I mean, open. Here is it closed. In terms of the ice pick, sounds pretty good. I'd say it's a little bit more high-endy with the stainless steel washers as opposed to phosphor bronze or the standard brass. And maybe the balance is a bit more consistent with the stainless. And you just feel it a bit more, which is typically what happens when you upgrade to stainless washers. But otherwise, this does still feel very much like the baliplus Kraken, which is a fantastic thing. This is definitely the most unique feeling Kraken I've felt. So, one thing I was never really the biggest fan of the Kraken was the balance made it feel very, very boring. Now, don't get me wrong, it was super competitive, especially in a collection. However, it was something that I just never was a fan of. But now, upon flipping this, maybe I was a fan of it, because I actually enjoyed the Kraken. I picked it up a fair bit, and this solves some issues and creates new ones. Don't get me wrong, it is no longer a super boring flipper. However, it is now more difficult to flip. Now, whether that's because I come in with the expectancy that the Kraken is kind of a self-flipper, I don't know, probably a little bit. That's definitely going to affect some of why I'm feeling like this. Like even just doing a short stop. Like, it feels good, don't get me wrong. And I think the fans are like perfect now. I really like the fans. They are effortless. Although one thing I have to say is, I've been flipping a lot of smaller balisongs, and the Kraken handles are chunky, man. They are really chunky. Obviously, for those of you who are mostly flipping Kraken stuff, you don't really feel it because it's like your standard handle width. And I mean, I guess the baliplus Tsunami, which I do have over here, this thing, it is technically, I believe, thickness-wise, the same. Oh, can even hold it. I believe thickness-wise it is the same in total thickness. But obviously these round-offs make it feel much, much smaller in the hand. And I just generally just prefer this guy a little bit, although this guy's a bit slippery. Because I have some super lube on it. So, yeah, anyways, this is still probably my top balisong in terms of what do I actually flip the most. Although I just recently sorted out my serif again, which is nice. But even this guy here, I mean, oh, fantastic. But this is not what we're here today to discuss, as great as it is. We are here to talk about this guy here. Now, what does this do for the Kraken's balance? It does get rid of a little bit of that handle bias. But if you've watched any of my other videos or about the Kraken, or how the Kraken flips, it has a very, very even distribution of weight throughout the entire handle. That is something that I'm not sure if I can say is as present here anymore. Now, of course, that would be because of the, humongous holes in the handles. But I'd say overall, yeah, you do kind of feel, especially in the fans, that end bias now is a bit more there. Not as extreme as something like the Tsunami. Well, actually, even the Tsunami is fairly consistent. But, not as extreme as something with end weight pivots. This without any end weights. But it is more so than the regular Kraken. And this is, such a smidge that in, ricochets, you don't feel it, right? Like, doing this feels like a regular Kraken, maybe a tad lighter. And in fans, you just feel like, oh, this just fans way easier than a Kraken. It wants to go into a fan a bit more stably. But then you do kind of feel it on the rollovers. That it kind of wants to get away from you a little bit. Now, it's really, really, really just a tad. This is such a minuscule adjustment to the point where I'm not sure if most people would notice it. But it's to the point where I'm genuinely considering the Bowie might be the better blade for this, or the Weehawk. I think the Tanto might actually have a tad too much blade weight for it, which I didn't think I'd ever say that because I don't really like the look of the Bowie. The Weehawk I don't mind as much, but the Tanto is by far the best looking of the bunch. Still trying to learn the cheddar. Maybe this will be the balisong to learn the cheddar with. Yeah, because sometimes I feel like it's just got non-linear scaling with its flipping. Like this, it flips kind of the same all the time. Whereas this, there's certain inconsistent patches. Now that could just be I'm no longer used to the chunkiness of the Kraken handles, which is very much a real possibility, because I've been flipping mostly the Gaboon and the Tsunami and a little bit of the Serif, and this does feel enormous in my hands at the moment. However, I am genuinely really liking it. Does it fix the Kraken for me? No. Is it an improvement of the Kraken? I also can't say yes, but I also can't say no, because it does solve the biggest issue I had with the Kraken, that it's no longer interesting to flip, or it never was. Whereas this actually is somewhat entertaining to flip, but more so in that I'm trying to tame this thing than it's a fantastic flipper. The regular Kraken is certainly a better flipper, at least with the Tanto blades. I imagine this will probably flip better with the Bowie blade, and almost certainly better than the regular Bowie blade than with the double slot Bowie blade. So if there is a Bowie blade available, do try that out. I did see that suggested by a comment. I do read all my comments. But yeah, overall, this thing has been pretty superb. I really like the sound. It's a good level of crack. It's my only other aluminium balisong at the moment, I think. Yeah, other than my Prisma, which is kind of cool. Also, I still have some balisongs for sale, so if you're in Europe, or especially if you're in the UK, hit me up on Instagram or wherever, Reddit, wherever you may be. I'm probably going to be selling my Orca V2 clone, my Tsunami V4 by baliplus and V3 by baliplus, and probably my Arm Shark Tsunami as well. I'll just be keeping hold of this one Tsunami there. Might even have to buy new screws for it, annoyingly, but it is what it is. And yeah, and that is because I would like to get myself the baliplus Chab, but with the kukri blade, because I love me a kukri, and I cannot justify buying another balsam right now with the state of my collection. And so yeah, that is essentially how that goes. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for sticking with me, despite me not being the most reliable these past few weeks. But yeah, I will try to commit more so to these videos as my time is freeing up. I've had a lot of time taken up by university. The semester is coming to an end. I'm going to be focusing on exams for the next little bit longer, and then videos should be, back up in their full force. So please bear with me for the time being, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. See you next time. Peace.